Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and this is part 4 of our series of how to do a yoga headstand. In headstand, it is called Shirshasana. That's the Sanskrit word for headstand, Shirshasana. Shirsha in Sanskrit means head. So if you want to learn how to do this very fun and dynamic yoga pose, be sure to go back to parts 1, 2, and 3 and then proceed with this version. All right, so let's do a quick review of what we did last time. And so when we do a headstand in this particular version, we are balancing on our forearms in this tripod fashion. And we want to make sure that we're bearing down very strongly into the ground in order to shoot energy up through our body, right up through the tips of our toes. And we also want to make sure we have a good placement of where our head is going to go. And so we want to make sure that we're making a cup with the hands and we're placing it somewhat behind the head, near the top there, and really bracing ourselves against that cup. So we're going to practice that and then start the leg extension. And before we get into the full headstand, which we are going to do today, we're also going to do it up against a wall. Because when I was demonstrating it in the other videos, I was just doing it just freestyle, just on my own. Well, I've been practicing it for a long time, but soon you'll be able to do the same thing. But we'll use the wall as extra support as you move into the posture. In part 5, we'll begin the process of starting to move away from the wall. Alrighty, so our review. So I've been using a nice soft blanket, making sure that our head is resting on something soft while we're going into our headstand, but also making sure we're not creating any kind of compression in the in the spine, in the neck area. Alrighty, so just that review of where the hands and your head will go. So making our clasped fingers, opening it up a bit to make the cup, and that's where the back of the head will be placed. So let's just do a quick review. Here's our tripod on the ground, folded fingers right here. I'm already kind of shifting forward, so more of the weight is more in the hands, fists, and forearms here. Opening up a bit, making sure I'm creating my triangle. Just a quick review. We want to be sure we have a triangle. We want that tripod. We don't want to have a straight line like that because then we won't have any kind of support for the upside down position. Then we tuck our head right in behind, or right in that cup. Making sure we're still pressing strongly down into the ground with the arms. Now you can see I'm on my knees and I've tucked my toes. With an exhale, I'm just going to lift my knees off the ground. So this is our review. I'm even going to step forward a tiny bit, keeping a good bend of the knees, sending my hips up into the air. But again, with a good exhale, several things are happening. I'm drawing my navel inward towards my spine for engagement and support of my core, but I'm also pressing my arms strongly into the ground. Let's take a quick rest. Okay, so that's our little bit of a review. Let's move forward. We'll take one leg up into the air. Now don't worry if it's bent or if it doesn't go all the way up, because for this portion it really doesn't have to just yet. We just want to feel that sensation of lifting a leg off the ground. And we'll do both sides. We'll take a pause in between. So let's set it up. Here's my tripod on the ground. Here's my cup. Placing the back of the head in the cup, on my knees, tuck toes, rooting down strongly into the ground. With an exhale, lifting knees off the ground. Still pressing strongly into the mat with my elbows. I'm going to take my left leg up into the air. And again, don't worry if it's not all the way up. It's just basically getting the foot off the ground and lifting it. Now we want to have a lot of energy in this leg, even if it's slightly bent. I like to either flex the foot, but in this case, I'm actually pushing through the balls of the foot here, or you can even point your toes. So a nice extension of lifting, as if you're trying to reach for the ceiling with this leg. All right, let's go ahead and take a rest and come back down. So you can see when I took that leg up into the air, it didn't go all the way up and straight. That's okay. Again, we want to have the sensation of still pressing strongly into the mat with the forearms while you have one leg in the air. All right, now we did a quick rest. Let's do the other side.
Same dynamic. A nice exhale of lifting the knees. Hips are lifting straight up into the sky. Pressing strongly into the mat with my forearms, and with an exhale extending my right leg up into the air, really reaching. I'm going to go a little higher. Now if you notice my foot on the ground, my left foot, I'm high up on my tiptoes so I can get as much height as I can of my right leg that's in the air. I'm still pressing very firmly into the mat with my hands and my forearms. And the more I'm leaning in that direction, there's less pressure in my elbows. Let's take a rest.
Alrighty. Now we're going to try this kicking up onto the wall. Part of that kicking up is coming from our center, our core body. I'm going to turn this way so you can just see how I'm just going to lift myself up into the air. Same setup, rooting down into the blanket. That one leg that's going to go up into the air is going to stay as strong and as straight as possible. It's going to be like a stiff board, even if there's a slight bend in it, that's okay. Now the foot that's on the ground is going to give us that little pressure to kind of kick or lift ourselves up with a bend in the knee. Here we go. You can just watch me if you want to. So I'm getting my blanket pretty close to the wall here. I'm a few inches away from the wall with my fingers because I want to make sure I have enough space to literally fall into the wall so I know I have that support.
I'm going to take my left leg up into the air. Now it's not very close to the wall, but I'm going to bend this right knee. Can you see I'm bending my right knee high up on my tiptoes? It's going to be that leverage that I'm going to use with a good exhale to get my whole body up and catch myself against the wall. Here I go. Exhaling, kick, and I'm just falling up against the wall. Just like that. Now I still want to push strongly into the ground or my blanket with my arms. My toes are pointed, even though you probably can't see them, as I reach up towards the ceiling. But the wall is supporting me. I'm going to bring one leg down and carefully come back down.
So that's basically it. So that's our part 4 of our headstand practice. Try that. Now, you may have to play with distance a little bit while you're doing this against the wall. If you're too close to the wall, you're not going to be able to feel the wall as support. You might fall back down. You want to be just far enough away so that when you kick up against the wall, you'll have a slight angle in the body so that you can actually just lean up against the wall. And that's what you want to feel. Alrighty. Now our next lesson, we're going to be focusing on how to stay very stiff and strong and stable in that upside down position where you're still rooting down into the floor with your arms, but feeling light as a feather as you float right up through your tiptoes. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like this video and also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And be sure to watch parts 1, 2, and 3 of our headstand practice. Thanks again. See you next time.